Okay, so according to this, it looks like if I curse within the first few minutes of a YouTube video, it'll be demonetized. So, who cares? YouTube has never given me shit. So let's get going and let's do some videos. Right now, we're going to be talking about some comic books. Okay, YouTube doesn't give me any money because I curse and they don't care. You can support me at Patreon or just $1 a month, and you can also pick up the newest issue of Red Knight. Actually, the new trade. It's collecting the first 3 issues, all in color, with new backup stories. Go check it out at manospublishing.com. So, hey, we're here to talk about some comic books, and I'm going to first start talking about Miles Morales Spider-Man, number, what are we at, 3? This is from Cody Ziegler and Federico Vincentini. So, okay, this is dealing with the sort of mystery villain that's been plaguing Miles for the first arc of this series. And we actually start the issue with her backstory, nice and detailed, all the way back to her parents' meeting. And it's kind of like a fairly romantic story. It seems like it's, has a happy ending, but of course, as things go, there's really no such thing as a happy ending. Her mother passes away, and they never really gained money. They kind of the medical costs really plague them. The business goes under. Her father can't really afford to put her through school, so she gets a chance with the lottery. It's that lotto that Miles was able to get to a school. So of course she, explains this to Starling, who she captured last issue. And Starling very rightfully brings up the same thing I'm actually kind of thinking when she's going about this is, if you're mad about the corrupt and incompetent education system we have in this country, why are you going after Miles, who is just as much a victim about it as you can be? Why don't you fix the system? And she basically blows that off, going, aha, it's all coming apart and he's the first step in my plan. Okay, you're all right. You're just an asshole with a point. Like so many villains. Meanwhile, cut to Miles. He is with Misty Knight, one of my favorite underrated Marvel characters. She and him are fighting the Scorpion, who has been souped up with her technology. She is a super genius, and very similar to the Tinkerer from Peter Parker's Spider-Man. But as you see, there's some differences. Of course, she's a young woman. She has more of a strong personal agenda versus the Tinkerer, who was I'm good at making stuff and I like making money. Hers is a little bit more specific agenda. So, and also she's not afraid of jumping into the field and getting into a fight. The Tinkerer ain't gonna fight Spider-Man. He's like an old guy. By the way, I should mention, good lord, Vincentini's art is absolutely gorgeous. Every page of the series so far has been beautiful. Absolutely, electric and, really action-packed. And even, static scenes still have, strong energy to it. Holy crap. So anyway, Miles and Misty beat up the Scorpion. The authorities come take him away. And we get to see throughout this story, this issue, I should say, a nice kind of bond building between Miles and Misty. I kind of like this, actually. They have a really nice rapport, and I do like seeing Miles team up with her, because he gets kind of a different perspective from her than he would have from Peter, for instance. So anyway, after that, he decides to, check up on Genki, and can't find him, and oh no, the Rabble is her name, and she has set up a trap. She basically hacked into his phone, tracked him as he was looking for Genki, and now we're going off into battle with these two. So, like I mentioned, she is not like the Tinkerer. She has no problem putting on a armored suit that she built and fighting spider people. So Very good. I really enjoyed this series. Has been very good. This has been off to a running start. Where I love the Ahmed run on Miles Spider-Man, but it did kind of seem to peter off and get into like a little mired and in deep in the weeds with like parallel universes and clones and stuff like that. And I don't know. I'm just a little over that kind of stuff with Spider-Man, guys. I'd rather deal with other subjects and ideas, which we're doing. Okay, so great. I'm really loving this series so far, and this issue is terrific. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 Ram chips, baby. All right, now let's go to. I'm gonna cut to the smaller books here. Scarlet Witch, and number 2, and this is by Steve Orlando and Sarah Pichelli. Now we are picking up from. Let's see, last issue when Viv Vision showed up. And Viv Vision is sort of a daughter-in-law, kind of, because her mother, I don't know, can you say her real mother, her natural mother? And they're both androids built by the Vision. But anyway, her mother, her first mother, her brain pattern was built off of, I don't know what Marvel means when they say stuff like brain patterns. Her brain pattern was modeled after Scarlet Witch. So she's kind of her mom too, or stepmom. I don't know. It's really weird. But anyway, she comes to her because she has been experiencing nightmares and terrors, and they've just been like plaguing her. And she's like gone to, she's tried to get help from the Vision. She's tried to get help from her other members of the Champions. But there's really only so much they could do. So she's gone to the person she thinks, hey, might be able to help her out, and it's none other than Wanda. So Wanda does enter her mind, and we get to see like an interesting idea of like the mindscape of an android, which is something we've seen of like regular people in fiction and fantasy, but this is something really interesting. It has a more Metropolis look to it, frankly. And that's where she meets the problem. It is Dream Queen, who is the daughter of Nightmare. And she has been plaguing her. And of course, they do battle here with some very gorgeous art. Sarah Pichelli is just absolutely wonderful here, and she really does bring out like scary imagery. I love her take on Wanda. She has a nice Romani look to her, because sometimes artists do forget that, and they just draw a white person with dark hair and stuff like that. And it's sometimes not even that. But anyway, she's able to capture her, and she makes a deal with her, like, hey, you get out of Viv's mind, and you can have my misery, which Dreamscape has to know. Wanda has a lot of bad misery, so okay, we'll go and do that. But of course, Wanda tricked her. It's kind of like, how do you say? It's kind of like a Turducken. It's like has the misery wrapped up around her greatest joy, and I don't know. It's kind of weird, but it works, and she is not going to bother Viv again. And I actually really do enjoy this relationship, and I'm hoping this is something that we see develop more, because I think both Wanda and Viv can really use each other in each other's lives. They definitely do kind of need a figure like each other. Like, Wanda has lost children, and Viv has lost a mom, so actually this is a really good, helpful thing for both of them. It's funny how I'm talking about them like they're real people. It's whatever. So, really enjoyed this. Really strong. 5 out of 5 Ram chips for that. So, hey, Moon Knight's been great. Speaking of great Marvel books. And this is from Jed MacKay. And, let's see, Alessandro Capaco. Forgive me if I make that mistake. Anyway, this is another really strong issue. MacKay does this really great, kind of fast-paced type of storyline. He really exceeds at it. And someone is killing off, they're using these old classic Moon Knight villains, the Harlequin men, killing off people from his Midnight Society, I think it's called. Let's see, I think it's Shadow Cabinet, excuse me. Which are people and experts who have helped him over the years, and they're being targeted in one night. So let's see, Moon Knight and like Hunter's Moon, Reese, Soldier, Tigra, they're all scouring the city, trying to like, find who's next on the list and try and like, protect them and bring them into the Midnight Mission for safekeeping. And they are able to save a few, but there's still more that are being attacked like all in one night. Good Lord, look at the color, look at the lighting that is on par here. Reese does something really clever because she needs to know a little bit more layout of the city, so she asks to talk to Jake Lockley. And she's been getting really good since learning about his DID situation, has been able to kind of process that and kind of deal with it in a constructive way. So Jake is able to like kind of help her figure out a good way to get there. And then we get to 8-Ball, another like blamer old Marvel villain. It's funny, like some old Moon Knight villains have like this kind of B tier, C tier Batman villain vibe to that. The Harlequin men and 8-Ball look like real, like, second, third string, like, Batman villains. Anyway, so, hey, what we got here is, finally, take them out, and they talk about this ghost on the phone, creating the targets and such like that. So, he's not able to really figure out who that is, but he's able to get them into a psychiatrist for safekeeping. He doesn't kill them, which is like a big step for him. But we now are starting this kind of mystery as like, who's the ghost on the phone? Love Moon Knight. This is great. 5 out of 5 Ram chips. So, and we're gonna finish up strong with a huge one. Holy shit! This is The Sins of Sinister, #1, and this is by Kieran Gillen, and he's been building up to this. And who's the art team on this? There's a few artists on this book. Let's see. A lot. Let's just say quite a few. So I'm going to stick with Kieran Gillen. Anyway, we are picking up from the events of Immortal X-Men, where it seems like Sinister has finally been dumped by the Quiet Council. But Xavier pulled off his helmet, and there was a Sinister diamond on his forehead. And essentially, we get to see into this real stellar win that Mr. Sinister has. He's been plotting. If you've been reading the X books, he's been doing some shit behind the scenes and very gleeful about it, kind of barely containing himself. So now we get to see what he's been doing, and he has been infusing himself with the resurrected X-Men as they get resurrected, and sort of kind of creating them as his, sort of clones in a way, where he has a piece of himself in them, and he's able to, kind of turn them into his slaves, minions, however you want to say, even the more powerful ones. Like Emma Frost and the whole Quiet Council, actually. We cut and we start going through time. We go through a year later as this has been going on. And Ben Urich, who's been kind of doing investigative journalism on Krakoa and what they're doing, he goes to J. Jonah Jameson. And he, tells him what's he's starting to suspect, and he gives Jameson a test to make sure he's not been affected by this. And sure enough, actually, he was, and so is everybody at the Bugle or wherever he's working in a year. Because don't forget, he's been doing a podcast lately, so I don't know if he's going to be with the Bugle in a year or Marvel Time or whatever. And he says, "Hey, that test was created by Sinister, to read out people, and Sinister has been using the drugs and all the protocols in order to gain access to people, so he's been spreading himself to everyone." This is what I think people who are against vaccines thought this was. No, that was fine. This is kind of a problem, but. Let's see, and we get more and more. Krakoa itself is a being, an entity that he can't control, so he's able to attack it and blame Orchis. They're main villains, and they're actually innocent of attacking. But of course, that brings in the Avengers. they're able to take out Orchis, and then we get to like more. We get further through time, and we see kind of like how Sinister is able to use all these manipulations in order to take out like people like Doctor Doom, Thanos, the Fantastic Four, like anybody who was going to be a threat. The Eternals, and even the Avengers. He's able to kind of manipulate them and Captain America into trying to take over the country, which kind of looks bad. Well, to some people, but to regular people, it looks bad. With the X-Men saving the day. So yeah, he's kind of sitting on top of the world, but with problem is Storm, he never was able to connect with because she refused to go through the resurrection protocols, if you may recall. That actually has worked in her favor because she never died, and she has done her best in previous stories to not get killed, so she doesn't get resurrected. So she discovers like the big secret and is able to escape, saved by none other than Mystique and Destiny, who has been seeing this problem come up. So, yeah, this is part one. We get to see more. Scarlet Witch is, taken out, and, let's see, Hell is taken over. They go to Mars. Spider-Man has been taken over. Namor, it's kind of a huge win until he starts realizing that the sort of clone Sinister people that he has in charge of are kind of developing their own personalities. So he goes down to his own lair, which was the old Moira Matagat lair, to kind of work on the problem, and it's all gone. All his stuff is gone. All his equipment is gone, and we go from there. So this is quite an ambitious arc we're doing, and this is the Sins of Sinister. I have no clue what the hell Karen Gillan's going to be doing with this arc. So this is really interesting. 5 out of 5 Ram chips. Holy crap. I haven't been reading Immortal X-Men. I wish I had. That's one of those titles. It's like, I can't really afford it this month, and then you regret it later because big stuff happens in it. So that's this past few comic books. This isn't really what I read this past week because I'm a couple of weeks late on comics, so this is a couple of things I've read this week. I hope to do some more comic reviews later in the next week or something like that, just to catch up. I'm just trying to play catch up right now. So, hey, those are the comics I've read recently. What did you think? Have you read these? Have you read Sins of Sinister? You should check it out. You can check me out at the links below. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr. I'm still on Twitter. Apparently Twitter is still a thing for now. And you can support this channel at only $1 a month at Patreon. That's where I can make money. Forget YouTube. By the way, Red Knight volume number 1 is available on print and excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Okay, I'm good. Volume number 1 of Red Knight, Knight Without a Sword, is available printed digital at manospublishing.com. And I'm going to be doing a new Kickstarter for issue 7 coming up soon. I'm going to make an announcement about that on this channel. So, hey, I think we're done here. Push the button, Lindsay.